Hi, my name is Rick Lineker, and this presentation is to get you started creating HTML pages for the Web 115 class at Rockingham Community College. Okay, there are a couple things we need to do before we even create HTML. For starters, we need to be able to show file extensions on our computer. Now I'm running Windows 7 right now, but this works the same way in Vista and XP. Okay, so I'm going to run my computer, and I'm going to press the Alt key, and I'm going to select the Tools menu, go to Folder Options, View, and down here where it says Hide Extensions for Known File Types, I'm going to deselect that so that the operating system will show the file extensions. And I'm going to say OK. And that is all I need for that part of this. I'll dismiss that. The next thing I need to do is create a desktop shortcut for NotePad. And the way you do that is right-click on your desktop, say New, Shortcut, type notepad.exe, and then you can title it whatever you want. I usually just say Notepad like that. And I'm going to cancel out of there since I've already got a Notepad shortcut. Okay, now we will create a folder into which our HTML projects will go. So C, and I'm going to create a folder called Web 115, since that's our class. Going into that. And let's all go ahead and create a new folder called Getting Started. Now I'm going to tell you something. Windows is okay with blank spaces and special characters and so forth. But HTML is not necessarily okay with blank spaces. So anytime I say a name such as Getting Started, go ahead and make sure that you don't put a blank space in there, because down the road, using blank spaces for file names and folder names is going to end up giving you quite a few complications. So please do not put blank spaces in your file and folder names. Okay, open up Getting Started. Now we're going to create our very first HTML document. So I'm going to right click and say New, and you'll notice there's no HTML document there for us to create. So we kind of have to do an end run. We'll create a text document. Notice it's called new text document.txt. The .txt is really going to have to change. We're going to name this to first.htm. Now it's going to prompt me to make sure I want to change a .txt to a .htm. And since we definitely know what we're doing and this is what we intended, we're going to say yes. Now I named it the extension .htm. Another acceptable extension is .html. Usually in the Unix world, Unix and Linux world, it's always .html. Many times in the Microsoft world, it's .htm. We're going to stick with .htm for right now, but if you really want to use .html, go for it. Now to edit this file, it's real easy. We are going to use the world's most famous and favorite HTML editor called NotePad. Drag it over to the newly created Notepad shortcut you have and drop it off, and it will open up, and you'll notice it's just blank. Okay, so there are 4 things that are always required for an HTML document. The first is a special tag called HTML, which indicates that we're going to start an HTML document. And just a short explanation on tags. Tags normally will have a start and an end. So we have a start HTML, and we need to somehow tell the browser that we're going to end our HTML document. End always starts with a slash. It's always the same thing, slash HTML. Okay, so here's my start HTML. Here's my end HTML. Now the other required tag is going to be body. So we start our body, we end our body. Okay, and between the body tags is all of the HTML that users will see. So here we're going to say, this is my first page, hello world. Okay, now I'm going to save it, and I'm going to recommend that you learn the keyboard shortcuts that will save you a lot of effort. Control S is save. Okay, you can also go up to the file menu and say save, but believe me, once you learn the keyboard shortcuts, it's going to save you a lot of time and effort. Now I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. Okay, that's what's called our HTML code. But if we double click on the actual file, now I'm running Chrome as my default browser. You might be running IE or Firefox or whatever. The browser actually comes up and renders it. You don't see the source code here or the HTML code. What you see is the rendered page. Okay, let me go ahead and get rid of that and bring back my HTML document. Okay. We're going to go ahead and put another line here. This is the second line. Okay, save it. Remember, Control S. Render it, and you see this is the second line. Now, you've got to be wondering at this point, how in the heck did it show up all in one line and not two lines? I see two lines here, but it's one line when it renders. Well, HTML generally ignores white spaces and blank spaces and carriage returns and tabs and so forth, and you could hit a bunch of returns or enters and it would still show up on a single line. Okay, and that's just the way HTML renders. What you have to do is you have to put what's called a BR tag here, and that will allow it to show up on a second line. See? Okay. BR stands for line break, actually. And you can put in multiple BRs if you want. And obviously you get multiple line breaks if you do. So let me go ahead and render this. See? And there's another, let me get rid of all these. There's another thing you can do. You can make these into paragraphs. Start paragraph, end paragraph. Okay. And when you go over here and render it, you'll notice that it looks like there's a lot of space between them because paragraphs generally add extra space. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the paragraphs for right now. And what we're going to do is decorate some of this text with tags, formatting tags. If you guessed, you would probably guess that stands for italics. Start italic, end italic. Save this, go here, render, and you'll notice the word page is italicized. Okay. B / B, and I'm sure you can guess that's bold. Okay. Those are the basics of creating web pages. There's actually more information in Chapter 1, but what I wanted to do was teach you about file extensions and the NotePad shortcut and just how to do this. I need very much for you to read Chapter 1 thoroughly, and your assignment is going to be to create several web pages, and I will post only pictures of those web pages on Blackboard, and then you will take the .htm files and submit them to me via the digital Blackboard. So this ends this part of the presentation, and the next thing you'll do is look at the assignments. You'll see the pictures of the pages that I want you to create. You will create them, and then you will send me the .htm files via the digital Dropbox. Thank you very much.